There's been a lot of leaks as of late when it comes to esports creators and streamers and the salaries they make. Just a quick note, guys, all of these people are very well deserving of the livings they are now making, but it's not going to stop us from talking about how much they are making. It's a recent article about FaZe Clan. We will also have a breakdown on this channel in full about the state of FaZe Clan, and a great article about how FaZe Clan's now former CEO said they were not throwing money into the garbage, and then went on to explain how much money FaZe Clan was spending, and a part of that was revealed of Nickmercs' supposed salary whilst being in FaZe Clan, which I found very interesting. And a question to all of you is, do you think Nickmercs was worth this amount or not? As the article is titled, and please go check this out, Cecilia is an amazing writer, from $1 billion to almost worthless, FaZe Clan runs out of hype. And in it goes over Nickmercs' contract as to back to June 2020, one of the company's stars, Nickmercs Kolchev, signed a 3-year contract worth $500,000 annually. According to a document reviewed by Bloomberg, he also got options on 105,000 shares in the company, and the company said it does not discuss individual deals with talent, but Gabriel, a rep for Nick, actually said the gamer generated $2.5 million in merchandise sales and 250 million viewing hours on Twitch since first joining FaZe back in 2019. You know, his rep instantly trying to say, hey, we can't discuss how much our client is making, but here's how much value he created. And that obviously comes into play when trying to figure out whether or not Nickmercs was worth that $500K supposedly per year. And with that counter argument from his own, representation, obviously he's not only driven a large amount of money in merch sales and collaborations with the company, he has been one of their biggest streamers and full-time content creators. And when it comes to the streaming space, I would say he is their biggest figurehead. And in my personal opinion, yeah, compared to other streamers who have signed these big deals, Nickmercs has been worth a lot to FaZe Clan and how he has represented them. Although I will say, play both sides, FaZe Clan has been a really big asset for Nick and what they've also offered to him. Not only financially speaking, but what he can do in the Apex scene and the events they allow him to host. I would hope that FaZe Clan is shelling out a little bit of money to help him put on the MFAM events and the MFAM gauntlet as well, and what he's done with the tripods and other things. I would hope that FaZe Clan has offered support back to him. But what do you guys think? All of this also a bit conflating with what people like FaZe Rain have said, as previously when he leaked Nickmercs' a big salary, he said that Nickmercs was being paid $1 million a year by FaZe Clan. We have Bloomberg reviewing a document saying that Nickmercs was being paid $500K a year, and we have FaZe Rain with his supposed leaks saying that he was actually being paid $1 million a year. I will say both are very high amounts, but they're also very different amounts. As that 300 to 500K mark is what I would expect out of the top-notch streamers who sign with organizations. I think of Tarek with Sentinels. I don't know Scump's deal with Optic, but the man is definitely bringing in the bread, and they utilize him, I would say, better than any big organization does when it comes to utilizing their stars. And then I think about Luminosity Gaming, what they did with XQC. I think that was one of the worst examples. No offense to X, no offense to LG. That was a big money spend, and honestly, when I watched XQC, I barely ever thought of Luminosity Gaming. So there's definitely, I would say, a wide variety of how orgs have handled these kind of things when signing big stars. And I do think Nickmercs is a great asset and still a very valuable asset to FaZe Clan. Nonetheless, in today's market, $500K a year, even for a big streamer, is certainly a large price tag. And back in the day when he first signed, I wasn't sure the money that he was being paid by FaZe Clan. I was also fairly sure that there was some sort of deal going on that, he brought FaZe Clan deals and FaZe Clan brought him better deals, and that's why he joined FaZe Clan, because they are and still very much, they very much were the powerhouse in gaming for bringing in big deals. And the big pull for Nickmercs to go to FaZe Clan, not just financially for a check, was part of the deals he could be a part of alongside FaZe Clan. Now, also in that article, it says that back in June is when he signed this 3-year deal. So has Nickmercs re-signed with FaZe, or is he going to be leaving FaZe once this merger comes into play? A second part of that statement says he had options on 105,000 shares in stock. I don't know if this is where FaZe Rain or whoever leaked the numbers to FaZe Rain thought his income was maybe a bit bumped up. I'm not sure. So we know right now that it's anywhere between $500K and $1 million per year that Nickmercs is making minimum with FaZe Clan with 100,000 shares, which, by the way, if you guys don't know how that works, when you're a part of a company, they offer you these options. It might also be a strike price, so it's a better price of actually buying in, investing into the company you're a part of, as in FaZe Clan. Now, unfortunately for Nick, I don't know if he sold any of these shares, but I imagine that strike price or the option price they gave him is still not near as low as the current price of these stocks. You can't blame him for trying, right? I think a lot of people thought that, I don't think anyone thought FaZe Clan was going to be booming, but I don't think many people thought that FaZe Clan would be worth like 18 cents or less a share, And at the point of me recording, if I go to actually check the SEC filings, I don't know if Nickmercs has sold anything, but Nickmercs actually has 250,000 shares when it comes to FaZe Clan stock, which is an extremely large amount. So either he vested in, or maybe he renegotiated and they gave him more stock, whatever it might be. He was or is still very much vested in the future of FaZe Clan, which is a bit reassuring. But the question I still have is, not only is the question to you guys, is he worth that amount of money? I personally think for FaZe Clan, it was a great deal. Still expensive, but I think they made it work. But is he going to stay in FaZe? I think is the more important question, especially if they can't pay him what they once did. And if you guys don't know, we're currently still approaching an alleged merger, maybe an acquisition of FaZe Clan, maybe a reverse stock split to keep them afloat on the NASDAQ. A lot going down, but Nickmercs and his leaked salary apparently being at least $500K a year, is he worth it? Yes or no? Till next time, take care of yourselves, right? Drink up. Thank you all for being here. We'll see you back here sometime soon.